Alright, well, this is take 2. Tried to make a video last night and it ended horribly. I scrapped everything and so I'm shooting a new one today. So how you guys doing? Another week gone by, another year gone by. Happy New Year's. Hope you guys had fun, stayed safe. So I want to start a new project, and it got inspired by one of my friends who has a similar idea. I want to start building a new forge, so I'm going to do a few videos on those. Something got me thinking. I remember when I was building my first forge, tracking down parts or figuring out how to do it or not knowing what you're doing when it comes to building a torch. Once you figure it out, torches are a fucking breeze. They're stupid simple. I like venturi burners a lot better than I like forced air. In my personal opinion, forced air creates a lot of scale. It's just a lot of hassle. You need power. You need, to be able to control everything with it. So I try to kind of steer away from that. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to build a simple forge torch. I'm going to try my best not to use any special tools. The video I was shooting last night, I was trying to implement a tap and I didn't have the right tap set, so that ended horribly. But I'm going to try to make it so you don't need a tap. All you basically need is a drill and 2 bits. Oh, and you're probably gonna have to order a regulator, a high pressure. I think they usually come with turkey fryers. A 0 to I think 30 psi or 0 to 50. Anyway, a high pressure regulator, adjustable regulator. You're gonna need one of those. It's safer and you have more control over your torch. So you need a drill. You need a 1/16 drill bit. The reason I say 1/16 is because I couldn't find any smaller at a regular hardware store that most people are going to have access to. It's kind of overkill, but we're going to try to make it work. If you have a tap and die kit, if you can figure out how to attach a 0.025 MIG tip to your orifice, that is a pretty good size. You really don't need that big of a hole for propane, but we're gonna give it a shot, see if it works the way I think it will. The other drill bit you're gonna need is a 3/4 drill bit. Other than that, I'm gonna try to do it where we don't need any soldering or brazing or welding. It's just all gonna be screwed together, and if it comes out the way I think it's gonna come out, then awesome. So anyway, we're gonna try to make our burner and not blow ourselves up. So here goes nothing. Okay, so I tried to keep this as simple as possible. Everything I bought was from Home Depot. So I'm pretty sure you could get this at any local hardware store, with 2 exceptions. This regulator I got off Amazon. It was only like, I think, 30 bucks. I don't know, you can get them pretty cheap, but it's an adjustable high pressure regulator. And this flare right here, I had to go to a plumbing store. Pretty sure you can get that off Amazon as well. I took the liberty of smoothing out the threads, so it kind of gives me a cleaner flame. But this is basically the setup. So I have a 1/2 inch to a 3/8 flare, so that can hook up to the torch. I got a 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch gas shutoff valve. I got a 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch elbow, and then I got a 1/2 inch to 1/8 reducer, and then I got a 1/8 to 1/8 nipple, and then a 1/8 cap. That goes into a 1 inch plug, and then we're going to go to a 1 inch T, so a 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and then we're going to go from a 1 inch to a 3/8 or 3/4 reducer. Then we got the 12-inch long 3/4 nipple. Yeah, nipple. And then back to a 3/4 to a 1-inch reducer, and then to the 1-inch to 1.5-inch flare. Actually, I think that's a, sorry, not flare, reducer. So also, I didn't say in the beginning, I want to put a damper on this valve here. So I'm going to drill a little hole right there and put a screw in it, and it's going to be able to swing like that, so I can kind of control my airflow. So that's pretty much the assembly right there. We're going to start by drilling a 3/4 inch hole in the top of the direct center of this guy right here. So that's going to be our first step. Alright, so first step you want to do, you want to find center on this square cap here with a plug. So I'm going to take a straight edge and I'm going to go corner to corner with a Sharpie and just make an X on it. Just like that. Just like that. And where those lines cross, that's your center. Now I know a lot of you are thinking like, well, I don't have a goddamn drill press, how am I going to do this? You can totally do it with just a regular drill. I just have a drill press and I like using it. So it's not that big of a deal. So first we're going to drill a pilot. Get a little cutting fluid on there. Go directly center. Let's swap it out for a 3/8 bit, not 3/4, 3/8. Double check everything lines up. Put a little cutting fluid on it. Now we got it directly center. Alright, so with this next step, it's a very snug fit, and that's what I'm kind of relying on, is that we're going to do a pressure fit here. Otherwise I would have to either braze it or solder it so it doesn't slide in and out. So we're going to go ahead and put the nipple into the hole, and you got to kind of just feather it in there. If I could actually get this to work right. Let's try this one. Here we go. Once you get it past the threads, this will mar up the threads a little bit, but you can still get a tight seal on it. You know what? Probably be a little bit better. Just make sure it's not going in at an angle. There we go. So I did it just enough to where these threads are like bottoming out. So there we go. That's what you want it to look like. And that's going to go just like that. And the screw just straight on there. Boom. Okay, so the next step is we're going to try to drill, we're going to find center on here, and you can usually see it just by the milling on the shine where the center mark is, and we're gonna do a 1/16 hole, like so, the smallest drill bit you can possibly find. You're really supposed to go smaller than that, but we're trying this because this is what I was able. That's the smallest I was able to find at a local hardware store, and that's the goal of this project. Because the tip of a Sharpie is a little fat, we're just gonna eye it, and I'm gonna go over to my drill press and drill a hole. I don't think you guys really need to see that. Okay, so we have our small little hole in the top of this cap. I think you can see it. There you go. Next, we're going to be attaching it to our nipple. Get a little bit of this plumber's tape. Make sure there's no dirt and sand in it. I usually do probably 3 passes. That should be enough. Just go ahead, screw that bad boy on there. Make sure it's good and tight. Now don't like crank too hard on it, or else you'll get it to come out of its threads. So, okay, I think we are ready to start assembling our torch. So let's go with this guy first. We're gonna put tape on all of our brass. So this stuff is far away enough from the actual flame that it won't melt. So there's no worries there. So that's 2. There's 3 wraps. Put this one on. There we go. Yeah, that should work just fine. Okay. On to the elbow. 1, 2, 3. Nice and tight. Okay. Do this guy. Now pay attention to where you're going to be putting your shut-off valve. Usually I like it kind of cocked off to the side, because if it's underneath, like right in here, you're going to have to like reach up underneath the torch body to turn it off, and that can kind of, I mean, like in the case of an emergency, that can get kind of finicky. So last fitting. Alright. That's our propane delivery. So now what I want to do is I want to go through and I want to test, make sure nothing's leaking. Okay, got our propane line here. Screw that on like yo. There we go, good and tight. So, what I like to usually use is Windex. We're gonna do it's kind of a soapy water test, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna pressurize the system, and we're gonna spray this Windex on the fittings and check for bubbles. Okay, so no bubbles there. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do my best to plug up this hole, but there's a lot of pressure coming through here, so alright, so right there, you see how that's kind of bubbling up? That means we got a leak. So I will fix that now. Alright, let's test her again. So pretty much what I did was I took this fitting off and I cleaned off all of the the pipe tape, and then I reapplied it and tightened it back down. Alright, I don't see any bubbles. Let's move on to the next fitting. No bubbles. No bubbles. And the very last one. Alright, I don't see any bubbles. I think we're in the clear. So let's finish with the rest of the torch body and move on. Alright, so we're going to put the damper on this right now. Took the liberty of drilling a small little hole right there, just so I can put the screw into it. You don't need it too tight. You just want to be able to make it so when you swing it, it stays where you want it to stay. So, there we go. A little damper. Alright, let's finish putting the rest of this torch body together, huh? With this stuff, you really don't need to worry about sealing it so it's not going to leak, because you don't have any gas going through these. This is basically to direct the airflow and provide a mixture tube. So you need not worry about pipe tape or anything like that. One. Two. It's not going anywhere. And for the final piece, I see that just kind of slides right in there. Boom. There. We have a torch. How fucking cool is that? I think I want to give her a try now. Hopefully I don't blow up. Alright, here goes nothing. Alright, I'm going to start with the regulator all the way out. So we need a little bit more, a little more juice. Yeah, look at that. That's got a flame on it, doesn't it? Put that. There you go. Where's my beer? Ooh, it's hot. Hot. Okay. Found it. We're good. So, there you go. That's how you build a propane torch burner on the cheap. I think all that cost me about, I don't know, between $30 to $40. The really expensive part was all the brass. But the black pipe is, that's nothing. Definitely, so as far as safety goes, have a healthy respect of flammable gases. Always keep like a fire extinguisher handy. As it is, that hole was way too big. If you can get a smaller hole for the propane delivery orifice, that would probably be more appropriate. Also, you know, more air is better. The intake that I had on this one I could probably have bumped that up a little bit, and it would have been able to suck a lot more air. And I may actually drill some holes in the side of that body there, the T, and that'll allow it to suck more air. So, play around with it, but be safe. Never use galvanized, because that'll kill you. Don't be stupid. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. It's gonna be a gas hog, like big time. If you're using like a little 5-gallon tank or whatever, that thing's gonna frost up, and you're gonna go through these things like crazy. So definitely get a smaller hole. But if you're just starting out and you want to try, I don't know, building a propane forge, everything I got was from Home Depot, aside from the regulator and that end bell piece. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. I hope that, I was clear on a lot of things. Sometimes I get a little caught up in the moment and I forget to say some certain things, but, other than that, there you go. Happy forging.